Previously on Lost.
Alright guys, we've got the Boss kit on. I'm not sure if we got the right one. This should be sitting here, but I can't put it that way because I've got this thing in the way, so I'm not sure if this is actually the right Boss kit. The other thing is the adapter that came that should fit this doesn't, so probably going to be running with a nice airbag light until I sort that out, but we'll fit up the wheel and see how she looks. So just a quick update for those playing at home. I think I mentioned when I put the hub on that it didn't appear to be the right one. Well, a little bit of research and I found out that you can actually flip this plate so it'll fit this properly. So we're going to do that and reset the steering wheel so it sits nice and flush against the column. The other thing we're going to do is try and remove the airbag light as well. I think there's some sort of combination that we can do with the door closure latch that sort of resets the SRS system, so we'll give that a go and just see if that either removes the light temporarily or permanently or not at all. So we'll give those a go and see how we go. Alright, so we've reorientated the bracket. The hub's now sitting the right way up, and it is connected into the, don't know what they call this thing. We're cooking with gas, just need to reconnect the horn and away we go. Welcome to another vlog. Today we give the R33 some bass. We'll be installing a nice little unit, including an Alpine monoblock amp and this Rockford Fosgate Power Series 12-inch sub in a nice ported box. The 33 was delivered with a Sony Explode head unit and a set of Sony Explode splits, which we will upgrade at some stage in the future to something a little bit more on brand. But for now, that will do with a little help from some of these guys. Now, I chose this amp due to its size, output, and the fact it stays cool during operation, which, given where we're going to install it, is pretty important, and a bit more on that in a minute. Also, shout out to Smiley for donating this sub. This sub was in his car at a similar time when I had my first Skyline. So to say this sub's seen some shit is probably an understatement. We have all the wiring ready to go, so let's walk through the plan and install location. Alright, so we're going to use the space above the fuel pump here and use that this point here to mount a bracket for the amp. This will allow easy access to the pump when we need. We'll simply loosen sort of the bolts and swivel the bracket for easy access. We'll run the cables from the battery sort of behind the fuse box to the amp and keep it all contained in one location. You'll see I've had the YouTube fairies run the RCA and remote cables before we started filming. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll mount up the amp on the bracket and give you a bit of a walkthrough around wiring and how that's all going to be laid out before we fix that one to the bolt here. Alright guys, we've moved inside just for a change of scenery. We're going to mount this amp up on the piece of MDF that we've sprayed black. That's affixed to this the bracket that'll be affixed to the chassis. We've got the wiring all ready to go. I've got the fuse as well, so we'll make that all look nice and neat here. So let's check it out. Alright, so we've secured the amp to the MDF just using a couple of screws. We've got the power and earth all wired in, and you'll see the fuse there is also wired in. Last thing we need to do is secure an eye terminal at the end of the power and then wrap it with some heat shrink, and we're good to install it. Sick one, brah. Alright, so we've finished mounting the amp and wiring on the bracket, and now we're ready to install it. Just one step closer to Pump and Candy Shop as we cruise down George Street, Sydney. We've now got the bracket and amp installed. It's on a pivot point at the back there, so we can swing this one in and out in all one piece if we ever needed to service the amp. or get to the fuel pump back there. So I'll get it in position and connect all of the battery and earth. I'll show you what the finished product looks like. Alright, we are done. It's all nice and neat, nice and tidy. We'll install the sub, wire it up, put the sort of the rear of the boot back on, just the trim, and we'll test her out.
2,000 years later.
Alright, so there's been a few days in between filming the last section and this section. You'll notice a nice little addition in the form of a quick connector for a trickle charger. Appears that all this tinkering with the doors open and accessories on had a negative effect on the battery. We now have a trickle charger hooked up to make sure we have no issues in between drives and the battery stays at full capacity. You'll see we've fixed up the boot trims. They're all good to go. And we've created a new floor just out of some 12mm MDF under the carpet there. With the addition of a few hinges, we have a full floor now to fix the sub to. I've added Velcro to the bottom of the sub box and these small guides on each side just to keep the box straight. Also fixed a nice Velcro strap to the rear of the box that will be wound around the sway bar for ultra stability. I don't know if you can see that back there. Let's get some light in. But I guess it's now for the real test.
So seductive. I take you to the candy shop. I let you lick the lollipop.
Oof, bit of roof flex, never hurt nobody. But it's seriously, 33s are notorious for having boot rattles. So if you want to get serious, you should probably look at dynamating the boot. But look, perhaps that'll be a future video. For the moment, pretty happy with how it turned out, all for a small investment of an amp. Anyways, that's enough for me. Time to enjoy it and hit the streets.